Obviously a tough loss, for our team. I thought we certainly competed extremely well, throughout the game. As we told in the locker room after the game, typically if we're going to score 70 points, probably 90% of the time we would win just because of how good we are defensively. So it's a little bit unusual, to be tied 43 all at the half. And then, 66-61 at the end of the third quarter was kind of a different pace. But obviously both teams were making shots. I thought, the start of the fourth quarter, you've seen a lot of things when you coach for 31 years. I don't know that I've ever seen 5 fouls, called on one team, literally in a minute and 35 seconds. So I think that kind of got us back on our heels for them to be in the bonus at the 7:54 mark. And so now you're kind of playing from behind, unfortunately, at that point. And I think, certainly I know our players, speaking for them, they were frustrated because you're obviously, it's just very unusual, for a tournament game to see the opponent, and it ended up, in a hurry. I think it was a 7-1 disparity. So you're kind of playing from behind at that point. But as I told our team, I thought they did an incredible job of being resilient. They played through that. They were obviously frustrated, with the situation. But, next thing you know, I think we had cut it down to 6 and we were within striking distance. But I thought, today this was kind of one of those situations. Sometimes good offense beats good defense. Their offense was a little bit better than us defensively. But, individually, we had a lot of great performances. Obviously, the 2 young ladies flanking me here, Destiny Terrell, to come up with 17 points was huge, and going 8 of 14 from the field. Jacqueline Moore, 14 points, 6 assists, 1 turnover. So outstanding there. Star Omazi getting 10 rebounds. Destiny Jenkins coming back again with 16 points. So certainly a lot of positives and obviously a lot to build on for our program, especially with as many freshmen that we played this season in today's game.
Thank you. Brandon, did you have a question to start us off?
Yeah, no, you had good looks in the fourth quarter. I just want to get you to elaborate on how frustrating it was to have those looks and those shots weren't falling down.
Well, I mean, again, I think a lot of them were great looks. And again, that was a big part of why we, were as competitive as we were, is how well we were shooting from 3 going into the fourth quarter. We end up 1 of 10 from 3 in the fourth quarter. Some of those were, it's final minute, you got to get a shot up. So I don't know how much credence I would put on that. But, we had good looks. They just, they didn't go down. But, we needed to be a little bit better. Obviously, ironically, defensively, in terms of field goal percentage defense in the fourth quarter, that was our best quarter. They, 27%. But, they end up with 12 free throws. So that obviously kind of was, led to a little bit of disparity as well.
Brandon, a question for the students?
Yes. Question to both ladies. You end up your freshman year in the tournament. Just talk about what this experience means to you and how it's going to carry over going into next season.
Destiny?
Well, in the beginning, we had our struggles with getting quarantined over and over again. It was like every week thing. So we had to play less games in conference. And even though we have a young group, I think we'll be a pretty good team. I think not just because he's sitting right here, I think we have a pretty good coach. And so I think he can mold us into what he wants us to be. It was just really a struggle, missing all those practices, missing all those games where we could have had more touches on the ball and had more experience in the game.
Jacqueline? Can you put your mask down just so they can hear a little bit? That's okay.
Like for me personally, I've never had a postseason experience or anything like that. So this is like a first time thing for me. And I was really thankful that I could do it with a really good group of teammates and a really great coach. And obviously didn't turn out how we wanted it to turn out.
Question again for both of you ladies. Did you feel that the pace of the game kind of got to you guys in the fourth quarter?
I'll start with you this time, Jacqueline.
I personally don't think it was the pace that got us down. I think I don't want to complain about like fouls or anything, but that's when the run started. So like we couldn't even get the ball, and like they jumped out to a 10-point lead. So I don't think it was anything with the pace. I don't necessarily think they controlled the pace of the game, but so I don't think that's what got us in the fourth. It was just, I'd say, the fouls.
I agree totally with everything she said. I don't think they forced us to do anything that we didn't want to do. I think that one possession where we went 5 fouls back to back to back to back, I think that's really what hurt us in the fourth quarter.
Anything additional?
Yes, another question. Coach, again, like you mentioned, you got a very young team. How important will it be, to hopefully have an off season with this group going into next fall?
It's going to be huge, Brandon. One of the things we talked about in the locker room after the game, and these two have alluded to it, for us to have 48 practices canceled, this year, being on pause or quarantine on 5 separate occasions, and those were 14 days on each occasion, and 11 games canceled. I probably would never tell them this, but we were probably the one team at least before to have 48 practices canceled in 11 games. When you're playing as many freshmen, a couple of junior college transfers. We had a game a couple of weeks ago at Lamar where we literally had one returning player from last year that played in that game. A combination of a false positive, some four other people being quarantined. So we've dealt, with a lot of things. And, we know, on paper, you would have to say that Abilene Christian was a heavy favorite going into today's game with, 2 second-team all-league players and 2 of the, obviously, 10 best players in the league. They were picked to finish 3rd. So for us, to obviously have a chance going into the fourth quarter certainly speaks volumes, to the team that we had this year and the resiliency that they had. And, as I told in the locker room, it's, I don't know how you could be more proud of a team that went 6-9 than I am of this team this year. Okay, with everything they did, and to have those off-season workouts is going to be huge for us. We did not have summer workouts either as well, so kind of got a late start, on a lot of things. But nonetheless, we made it. We made it here, and we certainly competed in every conference game except one, and most people didn't compete with Stephen F. Austin this year. So we gave ourselves a chance in every game, I would say, even in defeat.